Boom.
Duca, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. How are you, dude?
Thank you. I made sure to wear my
Oh,
Phantom
that's
shirt so I
fucking
could match a
awesome, bro.
neon.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I went to the Phantom office in SF maybe a couple months ago and I got some free swag, so
Hell
been wearing it a
yeah.
lot. It's good stuff.
Um, Welcome to the stream, man. I come to you with a heavy heart today. Do you want to give a quick intro into who you are?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not a CPA or an accountant actually. I'm a developer who thinks this whole thing is just ridiculously painful and annoying. And so that's why I built Awaken, which is a crypto, it's a bunch of crypto natives building a tax product where a lot of the other tax products are tax people building crypto products and they're very hard to use. UX is bad, overestimate gains and all of that stuff. And so I'm Duca, really passionate about solving the crypto tax problem.
Okay, you're not a CPA. Whoa. Okay. Dude, I've had a rough week, man, with the fucking tax. Honestly, I never envisioned bringing an accountant or tax software on stream, but I figured it was time. I've had a tough week, man, with the fucking taxes, dude.
Yep, it's tough. And I think like crypto taxes are painful for a couple reasons, right? Like the first is we have unclear rules. So things like airdrops where you'll get a token and it will crash half the next day, or bridging and wrapping, which are like tax events, like the IRS hasn't said anything. Or we have just like insane tax rates. Like I also live in LA. I went to the gym this morning, hit a pothole, go to downtown, there's like zombies everywhere, right? It's like we pay all this money into the tax system and it's like, where is it actually going? And so I think like crypto taxes are hard for a couple of reasons. Like the first is like really not clear rules. The second is like, where is the money going? And then the third is actually just like software in general. Like the software like overestimates gains and has a lot of problems. And that's where like I spend a lot of my time. But it's a really painful thing. And in general, I think we want to bring the world on chain, right? Like that's our goal here. And it's ridiculous that like taxes are so painful and actually stopping a lot of people from even wanting to go and use blockchains for finance, which is the whole point of this.
So it 54%. Like this is just it's just like what it is in LA on like capital gains. You just get cooked. Like there's like nothing you can do. Is it really
So
like? Go ahead. Sorry.
So it is hard because I mean, in general, you actually said this in some of your threads, and I think it's interesting. The tax code kind of like promotes two big things. So like the first bucket is like making businesses, and there's a lot of like tax incentives for making businesses. Like a really popular one for founders is QSBS,
Uh,
which means that if you create a company, you hold your stock for 5 years, you can literally sell like up to 10 million capital gains free. And the second is like real estate. And so we have like all of these benefits for those two kind of like buckets of like assets and creation, and they don't really exist for crypto yet. And that's kind of like a problem. And in general, like short-term gains is like taxed extremely highly in the US. And if you're in California, like both of us, it's even more painful, right? And so it is really annoying. There are a couple things you can do, but it kind of depends on your situation. Like we can kind of follow up off stream because I'm happy to kind of take a look and see if there's, something that we can do to help there. But there's kind of like two main things. The first is to make sure that all of the like the meme coins and the assets that you buy that are underwater, you're actually selling so they can actually
yes.
offset your gains. And then the second is like there's no wash sale rule in crypto. So you can actually sell assets for a loss and buy them back and use those to offset gains. And those are kind of like the two main things you have. And then you can talk to like CPAs and advisors who will set up more complex entities to try to like save you on taxes, but with the increase of like administrative burden. So it's kind of like you have to weigh that. But it is, I mean, it's really high and it's ridiculous. And I think a lot of people, like me and you included, it's like we're paying all this money and it's like, where is the money actually going? Right. And if you look at like what the IRS spends money on, like, first of all, 33 cents out of every dollar, it goes to like elderly services like Social Security, medical,
No.
etc. Yeah. And then like a lot goes to interest. And like by the time you actually get down and you look at what the IRS is spending money on, it's like where none of us feel like we're benefiting. And I think that's like the big problem in the US right now, where a lot of people are just like, where is my money going? And is it actually going to things that are like making my quality of life better? And I think a lot of us feel like that's not.
Wait, what do you mean 33 cents on every dollar?
Yeah, so 33 cents of every dollar the IRS collects is literally goes to Social Security and medical services for elderly people.
And what
It's
is Social
crazy.
Security? What do you 55 to start earning Social Security?
Yeah, so for Social Security, right, once you get above a certain age, the government will send you some money, like my grandparents, for instance, on
Like how
Social Security,
much?
etc. It varies person to person. It depends how much you pay into the system,
Okay.
but it is like a very large, and it's like kind of like a big problem for in general in the U.S. because like we're paying like Social Security is this big problem because we're all like basically paying. We have an elderly population that's increasing. We're all paying money into that. That goes to paying those people, and then when we get there, like there's no money left, right? And so it's just like this big problem. And I think like the IRS is trying to collect as much money as it can, but it's being allocated to all these things, and this is like a big problem in the U.S. right now. And I think a lot of people in like politics and government are trying to figure out a solution, but it is hard. And then for us, it's just like we're paying all these massive tax bills, right? Like with you, with your, I don't
Yeah.
know if it should be 54%. We should talk offline about that, but like very large amounts of money, right? And it's ridiculous.
So I never understood the social security thing because by the time I'm 55, it's that shit's emptied, isn't it? 100%.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is that like the younger generations end up refilling it, but then a lot of us are having kids later or not having kids, right? So that it creates this whole problem. And a lot of like developed countries in general, they end up like their population kind of, this is a big Elon Musk thing that he talks about, which I actually agree with, but it's like the populations over time are like going down. We're not having kids. It's like, how are we going to fill that bucket up so that we have money to make, to
Someone
get
in
paid
this
when we
chat
get,
said
it's
it's like
hard.
5K a month.
Yeah, it could be
Seriously?
really high. And that's coming from us, right?
5K
It's
a
coming from
month?
us.
That's insane. That's like a
It could be
full-time
high.
job.
It can be really high. And
Wow.
I mean, these are complex systems to be fair, like, but it feels broken, right? I think like you admit and I admit, and a lot of us feel like that. That's why people get so angry on X, and all of us are talking about this a lot, is because we feel angry that like, why is this how this whole system is working?
5K a month is heinous. Okay, so everyone, I post this thread and then I get hit up by all these people that have a take. First of all, everyone's like, you should fire your account. Da, 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 da. I actually think my people did a pretty good job. I'll ask you after, but I think they did a pretty good job.
Nice.
But everyone's like, dude, why didn't you just make an LLC? Like you can fucking like this is like I've had 50 people say this. Why didn't you just make an LLC? Like, dude, if you made an LLC, like you'd be paying no tax. And I'm like, brother, that's not how it works. But
Yeah, that's not
that's not
how
how it
it works.
works. You just like make an
That's not how it
LLC.
works.
It's like the stupidest take ever. What is that take? Where does that come from?
So basically that take comes from like if you have a business and you attribute like this income to that business and you have other write-offs, it can like offset like the income you're making because now you're like grouping it all into this business thing. But it's not like you don't pay tax on that, right? Like it's very yeah, that take in general, I think there's a lot of people on X that like don't really understand how a lot of the stuff works, but like are mad about like paying taxes and they have lots of different takes. And it is important to talk to like a CPA, a tax professional that can help you navigate some of these things because that's not how it works. You can talk to a lot of CPAs and there are things that you can do, but like it's not so simple as like make an LLC or all those type of things.
The other thing that's difficult with crypto is that a lot of times I will just like do like I found this out the hard way as after I went through like 2,000 transactions that I just do. You like do a lot of transactions on
Yeah.
chain in crypto and you don't like necessarily. I don't know. I'm pretty bad with receipts. Like, my room's. I don't know if you can tell. My room's kind of a mess. Like I'm not the. Yeah, like I'm not the the spreadsheet guy. And then going like I think I have a lot of transactions that just get marked as like income when they're not, and like weird stuff because it's like the tax on chain software services are just like not that good. They're good at buys and sells and profit and loss, but everything else they're like really bad at.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's kind of across the board. And that's basically why I made Awaken back in like end of 2022. It's because exactly what you're saying. A lot of them overestimate gains. And I think for a lot of like meme coin traders specifically, like if you're using trading bots like Photon or Axiom, et cetera, they don't actually even like factor in the gains to your sales. So they don't use that to like write off your sales. So like you should double check like your numbers if you're using other platforms.
So like what if
Like
you're
we make,
what if you're
yeah.
Cupsy and you trade 5,000 coins a day every day for the last 2 years? Like what does he do for his tax situation?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want a software. Like Awaken's great. There are other products that are great too, but I mean, like the whole point of a tax software is like you give us your wallet, we import all of your stuff, and we run our tax engine on it to try to like calculate everything, try to find write-offs for you. So like for
Damn.
example, if you're paying all these fees on these trading bots, they charge 1%. That adds up. Like some of our users have paid $250,000 of fees to like Photon, right? And like you want to write those off. Like you shouldn't be like paying tax on like $250,000 that they think you made, right? So in general, like the softwares are really good at like taking all the data, making sense of it. That's what Awaken does. That's what other products do as well. And
Wait, is
so, yeah,
that definitely account? I didn't even think about that. Is that definitely being accounted for? I gotta write that
you
down.
should double check because like I'm not saying whichever product you use or your CPAs didn't do that or your accountant didn't do that, but like I've seen a lot of other products where they actually like don't write these fees off because it's not easy. You have to actually add custom parsing to be able to write those things off. And we do this because like a lot of our users use trading bots, but you should double check because it can be significant.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that. It probably is significant. I probably spent a
Yeah. So
huh.
it's good to double check. Maybe your accountant did it, but it's always good to double check because if it didn't, if it didn't, you could save a lot of money because those are write-offs. Like that factors into your cost basis of the assets you're acquiring and when you're selling too.
Is there anything crypto people? Okay, actually, first of all, I know there was all this discourse a while ago when Trump was running for president on 0% tax on crypto gains. Is there any chance that happens? Like any remote chance?
Very low.
Like how
I
low?
mean,
Like zero?
I don't want to say like zero, and like also like I am a developer, so I don't know, like I'm not in the government or anything. Like I'm just trying to like make this easier for people to actually like stay compliant,
Yeah.
but pretty close to zero. I mean, like the U.S. government isn't like in so much debt, and then all the money that they raise is going to all these different things. Like they kind of need these income streams, right? Which is, and it's kind of actually ridiculous that like a lot of airdrops that were really popular, like Hyperliquid, were like flagged, like the U.S. people weren't allowed to get those because that was like literally be billions of dollars for the IRS, and like they were flagged, right? So you
Yeah.
can't like geo block, and so very low basically. I do think there's like literally, I think tomorrow there's some stuff that's going to be talked about, and we'll kind of like see what happens there. It's not going to be like no capital gains on crypto though. I think the government is like too much debt, needs to raise too much capital to do something like that. Unfortunately, because I mean I would
Wow.
like no, lower taxes at least on crypto, but
That
it
would be
seems very
unreal.
unlikely.
Is there anything that you recommend people like crypto people set up in the meet, like other than just track it better? But is there any like things you recommend that like traders that are primarily doing short-term capital gains set up systems like LLC business stuff beforehand to like make this easier?
Yeah, so I don't want to shill Awaken too much, but
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
think you should set up Awaken. And if you have problems, like let me know because like that will help you track everything so you can actually understand. And a lot of times in like in tax, you can actually save money if you're proactive, right? There are probably like write-offs sitting in your account right now that if you make an account on Awaken or other products too, you can literally write those off before the new year. And it's important to like lock those in so that way it actually like offsets your gains in the year. And so that's like number one, like set up a tax offer.
Uh-huh.
Like Awaken's great, Coinly's great too. Like I'm not gonna just only chill Awaken. So I would set up that. And then if you want to chat to a CPA, honestly, you can message me. Like we have a list of really good crypto specific CPAs, and they can help you talk through if on your specific situation it makes sense for you to set up those things. But it does really vary person to person, and there's always like a con to every pro, right? So like there's like
Yeah,
administrative
yeah.
fees, all these other things, and so it definitely does. But you should talk to yeah a crypto a CPA that understands this stuff, and that's really like there's a very small set of CPAs that understand this stuff. And so if you're like listening to this and you hit me up, I'm happy to connect you to some people. We have a list of like actually good ones. So I would recommend talking to them about that second thing and then setting up some type of tracking thing so you're not caught off guard
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
can actually minimize stuff, which you have to do. You have to lock that in right before we get to 2026.
Can you explain this like looping system where people so like I have like a lot of Bitcoin, right? And explain the rationale as to why you would just borrow against your Bitcoin and then you get, you know, low APY
Yeah.
fees and then spend that money. Like explain that system.
Yeah, so let's say you bought Bitcoin for like $1,000 and now it's $100,000. Like if you wanted $100,000 and you sold that Bitcoin, you owe tax on
Mm-hmm.
$99,000 of gains. Versus if you take out a loan against that Bitcoin and maybe it's over collateralized, so you can pull out, let's say like $50,000, you can pull out that $50,000 tax free because you didn't sell your Bitcoin. Now
Tax
the thing is, you
free.
do have to like yeah, yeah, because you didn't sell your Bitcoin. You locked your Bitcoin up. Now, the thing is, if that Bitcoin is liquidated because the Bitcoin crashes a bunch, then it triggers a sale and it does trigger tax. I mean, the key here is you basically take out a loan, you got USDC or whatever you did in your loan, you can use that. You do have to pay that back off, right? And with interest. So you do have to pay it off, but it's not triggering a capital gains on your Bitcoin. And so it's really common for like people really, really bullish on Bitcoin. And it's just like the rise of Morpho in general, is people are like using their Bitcoin holdings. They want to hold it for a long period of time, but they want some like liquidity without triggering a massive taxable event. And so you can take out a loan in USDC. You do have to pay off that loan. So you need some way to pay that
Yeah.
off, but you're not triggering a taxable event on that Bitcoin. So this is really popular. Like a lot of
Okay.
people, this is not even a crypto thing too. This is like traditional finance. Like
Yeah,
most
yeah.
founders, so for example, like Vlad of Robinhood, like a lot of these people, they don't actually sell their stock. They take out loans against their stock. Very common because you can actually save some money, but you do have to pay back the loan, right? So it's not like you're just getting like free
Yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so
Okay, so
it is very, very common.
I'm assuming you have some clients that make like fucking $50 million a year, and
Oh yeah.
you do, right? How you have some like nine-figure clients a year, I would imagine, or
Yeah, we
close.
have. I mean, I was helping with probably like this past weekend, eight-figure clients, right? We have a lot of people that make a lot of money on chain. Yeah.
What do they do? Are they just like paying eight figures in capital gains taxes? Are they borrowing against their
Yeah.
stuff? Like, what do they do?
I mean, it's a mix. I mean, a lot of people, the thing is, a lot of these people, like, they can't necessarily like borrow against their stuff because they're making short-term trades. Like, they're really active traders, and all of that goes into a separate bucket where, like, it's not like they're holding Bitcoin, taking out a loan against it, being able to do things there. It's like they're actively trading, and so those are short-term gains. And you can, like, generally, these people, they're just paying tax, like, they're just paying the hit. In general. So, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people that are really active traders can't necessarily take advantage of like looping because maybe you're not holding a bunch of Bitcoin, right, that you can take out a loan against. So it definitely varies. And a lot of our like highest earning people, they're trading perps heavily. They're trading all these different things, really, meme coins, etc. And all of those do fall in a certain bucket because the holding time is really short. And so there's not much you can do.
Okay, I don't know if you can answer this. If you can't, just don't. But what's the biggest tax bill you've ever like brokered? crypto?
Yeah,
You can't answer that.
I don't. Yeah, I probably can't say it because
Okay.
like in general,
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
no, but
Um.
I love the question. I love the question. I wish I
Okay.
could. Large though, large.
Yeah, I believe it. What about the okay? So what about the like the Puerto Rico loop? Is that something you
Yeah,
recommend people do?
I mean, no, I don't. You could talk to a CPA. They can kind of see in your certain situation if that really makes sense. I mean, in my opinion, and you're probably not going to like this, but like if you like living in the U.S.
Just make
and
more
you make a
money.
lot of money, like the whole point of making money is you get to do the things that you want to
Fuck.
do. And so I think you should always go from the lens of like do the things you want to do. Life is short, right? Don't necessarily do things just to avoid tax, but it can be significant. Everyone's different. But the whole Puerto Rico, Dubai, all of those type of things, like there's a lot of like complexity there, and you want to talk to a CPA to like actually understand that. And it varies person to person, so a CPA can't even give a blank statement about that type of stuff too.
Makes sense. Also, I want to preface by saying I know we're on stream. I'm compliant. I'm just asking questions. Is there like something you can do where if you live in like California, but you can like set up a business in like I don't know Florida or something and like pay Florida taxes? Like, is that a thing people do or no way?
I mean, some people I mean, some people like split their time throughout the year, spend half of it in one place, half of the other. California actually has some stuff like trying to like block that though, because they're kind of realizing that that's happening. And
Yeah.
like, hey, like you're basically living in California almost half the year, and then you're going over here. And so I think that like that loophole might be tightened up, but like these are also questions that like they kind of vary person to person. So like even CPAs can't
Yeah.
give like a blanket answer because it's challenging. But I mean, there are people that do things like this, and I think they're kind of allowed right now. But like, I mean, people are like, and California specifically is looking into this because California is really expensive to live in. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's
both see it.
fucking insane,
Everything is
man. I don't
insane.
get this.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I mean, they can kind of justify it because like there's a lot of jobs here. There's like good, good industries in
I
general. But like, I mean, the
guess.
cities are kind of trash, right? It's like, I mean, we both live in
It's
LA. Like, I'm sure you hit
disgusting.
potholes every week,
It's
right? It's
nasty.
like kind of
Yeah.
so yeah, the whole thing just feels it feels I think a lot of us feel like that. It's like what the heck is happening? And so we're trying to do these things, but yeah, it basically that does vary person to person. So it is important to talk to a CPA about it.
I feel like the thing I'm learning now after just I don't know talking to a bunch of people about this is that capital gains tax short-term cap gains just fucking sucks, and that's just like what it
Yeah,
is. Like there's really nothing. Like I'm sitting here like what's the method? I'm looking for the loop. There's no loop. There's like no method for this at all. Like no one's all even. I posted that thread yesterday, and I was expecting like all these like smart base 16s. Yeah, I was expecting one of them to DM me like, "Yo, I got the loop, I got the method," and everyone's like, "Brother, just make more money." I'm like, "Wow."
Just work harder. That's how it is. Yeah, I mean, like yeah. It's there aren't really any loops. I mean, the main like loopholes are like, kind of those two buckets I was talking about, like make a business or real estate. Like both of those have so many incentives for people, but like if you're doing anything short term, it's brutal. I mean, it's just how it is.
I think the borrowing against like Bitcoin and stuff is interesting, but then you have to pay it back. It like kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? Am I missing something there?
I mean, no, I mean, it doesn't defeat the purpose necessarily because like you're kind of just like accruing interest and like unless like you get like called and your Bitcoin is like liquidated, etc. Like it can kind of just keep accruing interest, but you do have to like pay it back at some point, right? So it isn't like a full. I mean, that's like none of these things are like loopholes, right? Like everything has a pro and it has a con, and this is definitely one of them. But a lot of people are doing that. They're borrowing against their assets, right? That's why like Morpho on Base in general and some of the DeFi stuff happening there is super like it's exploding. Like a lot of people on Coinbase are borrowing against their Bitcoin or their ETH, etc., because they've been holding it for a while and they don't want to sell it. So this stuff is pretty common. But yeah, like there's no free lunch, right? In any of this, there's no free lunch.
You know what? The reason my situation is so brutal, and I didn't really pay enough attention to it, is because had I had like a really good year in 2024, but it wasn't like the god year. But I have like no losses in 2024. I didn't really it because it was mania. It was AI season, and I just like wasn't thinking. I'm like, brother, I'll pay whatever tax you want to give me, and so I locked in these crazy gains for 2024 relative with no losses to offset. So they all carry over to 2025, and it's like cool for the fall. I'll feel good
Yeah,
come April, but you're like locked in at this ridiculous rate,
yeah,
right? And it's
and
like
that's the
it's like a
challenging part.
time,
Yeah,
it's like a window of time, and you owe it for that window of time. And not, I didn't like strategically plan that at all. And so now I'm like, fuck, like my losses all happened in 2024, but I sold them in 2025.
yep.
And so it's like a weird spot. Now I'm looking at this number. I'm like, bro, this number is ridiculous.
Yep, that's very common, and it's it's not great. I mean, that is kind of like one of the things that I hope Awaken can solve. Like a lot of taxes are like reactionary, whereas like software should actually like literally just like email you like, hey, just so you know, you got like $300,000 of losses sitting here you didn't claim. Like do that in the next week. Like do it right now. And be more proactive about this stuff because like none of us want to think about taxes year round, right? Like none of us want to think about that. It's like the worst thing possible to think about. But there are benefits to being a bit proactive, and like hopefully like Awaken can actually give some things that you can be just proactive enough where you still don't have to think about it most of the time because it does make a really big difference, right? These are windows of time and you want
Mm.
to like lock those stuff into those
So
windows.
you just
And if you don't, it's challenging.
so you just wake up and think about taxes every day. That's like what you
Of
do.
course. You don't do that?
That's like sickening, dude. You wake up like tomorrow. You're gonna get off this
I
call and
know.
like talk about taxes more. It's like awful, man.
Masochism. Yeah, I'm just
The world needs people like
yeah,
you.
I mean, for me to be like honest, like the first year I made Awaken, like no one really was really using it. It was like really hard to get a users, but like we'd get like a user here and there, and like I would just make sure to like obsess over them and solve their problem. And like I would literally someone would message in, have an issue, I'd be like 1 second, like a developer will look into that, but I'm a developer, so I'd go and fix it, ship it, and they'd be like, oh my god, thank you so much. And for me, it's like the little bits of like joy for like building a tax product is like I can take someone that's like panicking and like, oh my God, this is like the worst ever. And I can like switch them to being like, oh my God, like relief. And that's like a satisfying thing for me.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
grapple
yeah,
onto that, when I'm like diving through
yeah.
CSVs and like I'm like, oh
Fuck.
man, I kind of hold on to those type of moments and then just keep doing it.
So I mean, I feel like I obviously have to try it because I'm fucking sweating over here. What do you just need every wallet I've ever interacted with and it just like works? Like how does it
It
work?
should just work. I mean, I could follow up. We can kind of chat offline about this.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
get
Well,
you
let's
set
talk. We'll
up.
talk offline.
Perfect.
And you just like input 30 wallets or whatever, and then it just fucking runs its thing. And
Yeah, and we have people with thousands of wallets, and you add them all in, we start doing the numbers.
this is the other thing is I had to work really hard to find wallet because I have like multiple computers, old computers. I had to work really like it was like a multi-day process just to accumulate everything.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. Like we have like some stuff where we try to make it a little easier. Like if we notice you're like sending to a wallet a lot, we're like, hey, this might be yours, but like it will take some time, especially because a lot of people have a lot of wallets. It's like a security thing. Plus, you don't want people like following you, right? I'm sure like you're like this because everyone
Yeah.
wants to follow your
Yeah,
wallets,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you have a lot, and it becomes challenging.
Okay, last question for now, and then I'll let you offline. This is chat's question, not mine. Can he answer about using Zcash or Monero?
And if you're not supposed like, and if you don't have to pay taxes if you use those things, or what?
I don't know. It's just a question. I don't know.
I mean, both are great. You probably want to have Mert on to talk about Zcash. He's just like all over the timeline. Mert's actually one of our investors, but yeah, he's all over the timeline about all that stuff. So you probably want to have him on to that. Technically, like all of this stuff, like just because it's like private, or even if you're not allowed to even use it, like if you're using Hyperliquid in the US, you're not allowed to. Like you have to actually declare all of that on your tax return. It's actually like illegal to not do that if you get caught. So like all this stuff actually still has to be declared,
Wait,
even though like
hypothetically, if
yeah.
you were using Hyperliquid illegally in the US and you paid taxes on it, is there like
You're okay. It's totally fine because in general, like any of these products, by the way, when they geo block, it's actually like the user of it is like the victim, and it's like the platform's job to properly deal with. So
uh
you don't get in trouble, but you're supposed to pay tax on that because like we have a lot of we have a lot of users in the U.S. and a lot of them have Hyperliquid, even though they're not supposed to, but they are paying tax on it, right? So you're
word?
totally allowed to do that. But like
Okay.
all of this stuff, it's like it could be private, all these things. Technically, you're still supposed to, whether or not you do. That's kind of up to you. And there's a lot of risk. You're not supposed to do that though. But yeah, you're supposed to pay tax on all of that stuff.
I'm not doing that. I'm just a vessel for the chat to ask the questions.
Yeah. No. You're all good to go. Honestly, like the fact that you're even like doing this and talking about it, most people like don't. So it's actually like good in general. And I think like as the crypto space matures, like we need more people to be talking about this stuff. Hopefully, there's some stuff in the tax code in general that is like clarified to like make some of this stuff like not as annoying for everyone. And make it like a asset class that's maturing to be an asset class, just like even real estate or those things. Like hopefully we start to see things like that.
Okay, well here's what I'm gonna say is I'll message you when I get off stream and I'll try the product. If I have to pay, it's totally fine. And
I don't know, free for you.
if that number comes down, expect some referrals, man.
Okay, let's see.
That's all I can say. But dude, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
I
Thanks
wish
for having me. It was a lot of fun.
I wish you could come on and say my bill is 50% less than I think. It doesn't feel like it is gonna happen that way, but I'm excited to use the product and try it out. And dude, you have like a ridiculous amount of support on CT. It's wild. All the chads are like, this is the guy.
Taxes.
I know, for taxes. They're like stream numbers are up for taxes like it's lit. So
Crazy.
yeah, and I think chat genuinely wants to know how it is. So I'm actually gonna try it. So I'll message you after stream. We'll talk a little bit. Is there anything you want to sign off with?
Nah, I think that's it. I mean, if you want to try Awaken, try it. Send me a DM if you have feedback. We're always making the product better. So yeah, if you want to try it, you can sign up. Maybe we'll drop like a discount code or something on the stream or something. But yeah, would love any feedback, and hopefully I can help you with your taxes.
Sick, man. Duca, you're the man, dude. Thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Much
thanks
love,
for
bro.
having me.
Peace.
Bye.